energy when you were sharing your story. You were like, it's just so interesting. And this is something I've been talking about a lot with, again, and it has a lot to do with masculinity and that pressure and that go, go, go. But
Sure.
for so long in my business, I was like, it's all about the strategy. It's all about the strategy. It's all about how I'm doing it, what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
when I was in that mindset, I was always questioning myself, doubting myself,
Sure.
comparing myself, like trying was in the energy of trying. And you're like, it's so funny because it all comes down to the energetics, which is what I've recently shifted into within this past year and a half. And so I'd love to hear your thought teaching on that about
Yeah.
how we, either as business owners, you know, or whatever we're doing in
Sure.
our lives, how we can anchor into that. It's all about your energetic foundation. Weave that in.
Yes, yes. Thank you for bringing this up because I think this is so important to speak about. And just, for the viewers to know, like this is coming from someone that did spend so much of her time in corporate marketing and PR. Like I was in that hustle energy and, you know, now I know better. Like that's just it. Like now I just know better. And I think that we have just been taught business all wrong. Like we have been taught business almost backwards, where it's like, oh, you have an idea for business. Cool. Get your website, get the logo, get the strategy, research your target market, right? It's like we're doing it almost like the complete opposite when in reality, our motto, here at my company is energy first, strategy second.
Mm.
Energy first, strategy second. Because guess what? If you don't know who you are, if you're not connected to your purpose, you're not connected to your bigger vision, you don't feel in alignment with the decisions that you're making, somewhere down the line, you're going to fuck it up because you don't feel good about your decisions. You're going to start questioning yourself. You're going to burn out. You're not going to feel regulated with, your own energy, your own emotion. So you're going to end up burning out, frying out, not showing up, not taking action, questioning yourself. And the reality is, the strategy, the marketing, the website, all of that, those are just little band-aids, right? It's like if you haven't done the inner work, those are just these little band-aids that we put on ourselves to say, hey, look, I'm doing the right thing, right? It's like I showed up, I made the website, I have the logo, I have the strategy. But if the internal alignment is not there, people feel that. Even if your clients, your soulmate clients are not conscious or woke or whatever word, they still feel it on an energy level. They can tell if they're being sold to. They can tell if you don't feel confident in what you're selling to them. They can tell if you're just doing this for the wrong reasons or you're questioning yourself. So it's never going to work. You could do all the strategy in the world. And I've done this. Like I have worked with clients where I'm like, here's literally the rule book to 6 figures or 7 figures. Let's do this. And they have all of it, and then it doesn't work, right? And it just they end up self-sabotaging. They don't show up, life gets in the way. And that's what really brought me to bringing in Kundalini and energy work into business building, because I was like, all these people are amazing entrepreneurs, but they're sitting there and they're not taking action and they're getting stuck, or they're burning out and the success doesn't even matter anyway because they're so tired and their mental health is depleted and their family life is off. And so we really have to first master our energy to be able to master our success. If you really want to have embodied success and you really want to go big and you want to be able to hold it, you have to have the energetic endurance to hold that success, which means you understand yourself, you're in alignment with your purpose, you know who you are, you can say full body fuck yes, full body fuck no, and you trust. And that really is the root of everything. It's energy. Energy infuses every action. So you can take an action, but if the energy is really low, that action isn't going to take off, right? Everything feeds off of vibrations. And so if you want that success, if you want that 6-figure success, 7-figure success, whatever it is, it has a specific vibration to it. And so if you're over here freaking out, don't think you're worth it, don't know if anyone's going to show up, you don't trust yourself, naturally that vibration is lower, right? So it's like, how can you call that in if your bright vibrations in one place, but the action step is in another? It just doesn't equal out. So we have to build up our energy, build up our energetic endurance. So that way the action, the energy are at that same frequency.
Yes. Such a beautiful explanation. And this is something that I wish I had when I started my business, because
Totally.
I mean, everyone knows, I mean, listeners of the podcast, unless they're new here, welcome, knows that like in human design, I'm a projector. So I'm about, oh yes, girl. I love that. So all about trial and error, right?
Yeah.
And like when I started my business, it was strategy first, energetics. What? Energetics
Mm-hmm.
too?
Mm-hmm.
Like that didn't
Mm-hmm.
even exist. That wasn't even in my frequency at all. It wasn't in my
Totally.
knowledge at all. And so I built my business, then really anchored into myself, my energy, my mission, my why, my who the fuck I am and who I came here to be. And
Mm.
I had to tear a lot of stuff down that was not in alignment.
Yeah.
Right. I had to get rid of things that
Yeah.
did not feel good. And so this is so, so important. Oh, I love this. And I'm so lit up to teach energetics first, strategy second. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
this is it. This is it, you
Mm-hmm.
guys. And all we get
Mm-hmm.
to simply do is to just reprogram our beliefs
Yeah.
that we had and all the things that we see online, right?
Mm-hmm.
All the things a lot of business coaches teach, which is all strategy, strategy, strategy.
Yeah.
And it makes us feel like we're not doing enough,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like
Mm-hmm.
coming into energetics first, it's like, I am enough when I choose to see myself instead of
Yeah.
waiting for others to see me, for others to value me.
Mm.
And I know that this, as you were speaking, I know this question is coming through of, okay, this is amazing. I'm understanding this. However, what can I do when I go into that energetic frequency of doubting myself, feeling like I'm not enough, I'm not doing enough in my
Mm.
business, and how to like come back into that Kundalini energy?
Great question. I think the biggest thing is just giving yourself a reality check of, is what I'm doing actually working? Like, is all the action steps working? All the strategy working? All the hustle energy working? Like, truth or false? Like, is it working or is it not working? Probably isn't working, right? And like, that's why we can't be doing this cookie cutter business building. We cannot be following everyone else's strategies. They just don't work, because if they were working, they would be working, and they're just not working. So I think that's part of it, is just like looking at it and being really honest and saying, all right, it's not working. Okay, cool. It's not working. What do I do instead? Right. And I always feel the quickest way to predict your future is to look at your current reality. And if you keep doing your current reality, you're going to keep seeing the same thing in the future. Right. So if you don't like where your business is at or where your life is at right now, we have to shift it up. And so it can definitely be tough to like let go of the reins, because the strategy makes us feel like we're in control somehow. Like, it's like, oh, well, I did a post or I did this or I did that. And I'm not saying to negate the strategy. We live in a 3D world. We have to have strategy. We have to have action. What I'm saying is you have to understand the energy and why you're doing it first and foremost. But in those pieces of like reprogramming and letting go, you're actually going to be doing less, because you're going to be going within more. You're going to be doing a hell of a lot of inner work for sure, but it's going to look like a lot less on the outside in comparison to probably how much you're showing up right now and doing all the things. In reality, we want to make sure that every single time that you are showing up and you are taking action, it's like you have the Midas touch. It's like you're charged up, your energy is so full. So it's super intentional when you show up and serve and sell, versus I need to do this every single day. I need to do 15 reels. I need to do 80 posts. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to launch this way. We want to make sure everything is with intention. And like I said, that reprogramming can feel a little grippy, because you're like, oh my God, I'm white knuckling the strategy so much. And so when we do start to feel into that self-doubt, I think the bigger question here is, one, is it working? Is it not working? And two, I always like to fact check myself. I'm like, is this a fact or is this a feeling? Like, do I actually not believe this to be true, or is this just my ego? Right. And we just have to catch ourselves really quick. It's never about being like the perfect spiritual guru and like always being connected. Like that's not a reality. That does not exist, for what, 3 people on the planet maybe that's real for. But for the rest of us, we have our human self and we have to check in with ourselves. So it's not about being perfect, it's about catching yourself quicker. And so I think part of it is like factor feeling, like, do I actually not believe this to be true, Or is this just my ego telling me that I can't do this? Right. And it's like, if it is true, if you are like, oh, I don't believe this to be true, then you have to go through that self-discovery of, why don't I believe it to be true? Why don't I trust myself? Why don't I believe in myself? What can I start doing to build up that self-trust? What would I need to see, hear, or know to believe that I can actually do this? And that's also why I think mentorship is so important, because then you're working within the vicinity of someone that is doing the thing that you want to do. So right then and there, let's reprogram the subconscious mind where you're like, oh, she can do it or they can do it. They're right here in front of me on a call. I can do that too. Right. And so that starts to help as well.
I love that. I love that. That's such a big permission piece. I mean, everything that you just said, I was like, yes, tell me more. But that right there with mentorship was such a big permission piece for us to even activate our divine feminine even more, is to receive support.
Yes. We don't have to do it on our own.